Hey parents, story time, buckle up. Pun intended. So a few weeks ago, our family van broke down. My husband was taking our kids on an overnight camping trip and to meet up with some other dads and some of our kids' friends. And they were about an hour from our house when the van dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree and the van just started acting up. And so they managed to limp to the next town and pull over to figure out what to do. The campground was still about another hour away down a stretch of road that's known for having little to no cell service. So they weighed their options. Maybe it would be fine, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe they could make it there but not make it back. Maybe they would end up stranded on the side of the road with a vehicle full of kids and no way to call for help. So after letting the van cool down and trying to do a quick Band-Aid fix, they made the very disappointing decision to turn around and come home. And so later, my husband was telling me about the drive home, and he said it was incredibly stressful. Every strange sound made him tense. Every hill felt risky, and he found himself constantly wondering if the van would make it home. And his body was tight, and he was feeling hypervigilant and just running through all the different scenarios the entire drive home. Like, what if it breaks down here? What if it breaks down there? What if we lose power completely while we're driving on the highway? What if we're stranded? And it struck me because this kind of stress was, pretty new for him. Like, he grew up in a family where cars were just reliable. If something went wrong, you took it to a mechanic. If it broke down, you called for help. You had options. You had backup plans. You had BCAA membership in your wallet. And so car problems were inconveniences. They were not crisis. But my childhood looked very different. So for most of my early years, we didn't have a car at all because we couldn't afford one. And so finally, when we got one, it caught fire. So it caught fire while my mom was driving down Oak Street in Vancouver with me and three of my friends in the car. So silver lining was that we got to meet the fire department and take a picture with them. But then after that, there's always something with that car, with the cars that I had. So like one that a lot of us could probably identify with is turning the music up whenever a new noise appeared, because if you couldn't hear it, maybe it wasn't happening. So after years of driving unreliable vehicles, you develop a different relationship with cars. You don't assume that things are just going to work. You don't automatically trust that help will be available, and you don't take safety for granted. You learn to anticipate problems before they happen, and you learn to constantly assess risk. You learn to have backup plans for your backup plans, and you become hypervigilant because experience has taught you that sometimes the thing really does break down. Sometimes help really isn't available, and sometimes the system doesn't work the way people promise it will. And that got me thinking about privilege. People who have consistently experienced systems that work for them often move through the world the way my husband used to move through it with cars and car privilege, car trust, with that confidence and with trust, with the assumption that if something goes wrong, there will be support, that the problem will be fixed, that help will arrive, that the system will do what it is designed to do. And when that's been your experience, it's easy to wonder why other people seem so cautious or skeptical or anxious or distrustful. And it's easy to assume that they're overreacting. But what if they're not? What if they're responding rationally to a lifetime of evidence? Because when you've spent your life driving beaters, you learn things that people with reliable vehicles never have to learn. And when you've spent your life navigating systems that repeatedly fail, harm you, exclude you, or make you prove your worth over and over again, you develop a different relationship with those systems too. The difference isn't character. The difference isn't attitude. The difference is experience. So some people have spent their lives driving reliable vehicles. Others have spent their lives listening carefully for the next strange noise.